And yeah, it's good to see everybody. So we're here July 16th. I was thinking about this afternoon how different things are right now than when we started the town hall. I was looking at the town hall. The original town hall meeting date was the end of March, and we started off with the town hall as an opportunity to share information about what was going on in what was like a pretty crazy environment, and stay updated and have everybody connected on that. It actually hasn't changed a whole lot, other than like we're still using it in a little bit of to share information in what's been a pretty crazy environment, which just happens to be the middle of July in running the business. So, I kind of started off with that like fun factor on the CAPTCHA. It reminded me, Dan, but like that's actually what we're doing. We're like harnessing the power of a whole bunch of people involved. It's almost crowdsourcing information. So I think this is, again, one of the most powerful pieces that you can do, is that in everybody running the same business, there's a lot of things that overlap. And one of the things that I think a lot of people are dealing with right now, as I was writing some of the parts of the newsletter this week, it was like it came to me as sludge season. I'm like, it's like sludge season. It's like you kind of hit the sludge for some people. It's not the beginning of May when the market was like absolutely fire, right? And that you could go out and probably, I was joking with Kevin Esau, like ring a bell and walk down the middle of the street and yell free window cleaning estimates, and people would come out of their house to get window cleaning estimates. It's not that way right now, and that's okay, and that's normal. But what you need to do is, if I was driving my car and I drove it into some sludge, I'd accelerate. I'd actually push a little harder on the pedal. My wheels would be turning a whole lot faster to be able to not get quite as far. But once I got through that sludge, I have no other option other than to push like that when I hit that to get through. And I think about that a lot right now. There's a lot of people that have goals that are still very attainable. I've said it since TSA. You can do it. You can absolutely do what you're trying to do. There's still right now a ton of time on the clock, but if you don't push through that sludge, that could stop you to get to where you're going. Stop you, before you get to where you're going, which is not what you want. So again, like always, we're gonna have a few people share some of their experiences, just specifically what they're doing, to get some consistent results at this time of the year. So Carter, we've got you back. We'll start off with you here in a second, but again, it wasn't a fluke week. Yet another solid week, right? Back-to-back weeks. I was looking at your stats over the last, I think it was almost 4 weeks. Like, they've been pretty consistent. You definitely had some momentum. So again, I think we'll go there, and then Daniel and the other rookie of the week on our last week and sharing some of that as a whole. So again, why don't we start it off? What have you been doing to kind of get yourself through the sludge, whether it's tactically, whether it's in your head, or all of the above? And we'll start off Carter, and then we'll go Daniel and any other thoughts that people have. So Carter, the mic is all yours. We've been waiting patiently for a week to learn what you've been up to. So it's all you.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Aaron. I think last week was pretty comedic. What was going on? My connection was pretty bad by the lake where I was. So I apologize to whoever I interrupted, but that was really funny. Yeah, in terms of success, the past couple weeks, I think I've been pretty consistent. Last week was kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. I had a couple techs that needed to go, and so I need to cycle in some new people into the business. And I think the biggest thing for me was just mindset, also having the right people on the team to be able to market and try to push the market even though it's slowing down. So yeah, I think I've had a new marketer that's just had a lot of success. My mindset started to change. I've built up some momentum, and it's just allowed me to kind of keep on rolling the past couple of weeks and continue growing the business.
For you, and you've had to switch out some employees, and that can be incredibly tough for people, especially at this time of the year. I guess, can you share a bit of what that experience has been like in terms of like moving somebody out? How have you been finding new people? Like, how's that been working? Because I think, that is something that you're experiencing, which some people think is actually a negative. I think it can be a positive. One, you're learning a ton. That's how you learn how to build a great team, is actually by needing to rebuild some teams. And two, it hasn't slowed you down. It has, but it hasn't in terms of like actually looking at the regs. So I guess, what have you been doing through that process?
Well, I think cycling people in and out of your team is something that, yeah, like you're right. It's going to slow you down. It's going to take you away from marketing. You're not going to be able to push to go get those estimates or call those PCs that you want to get in and grow your business. But I think it was really exciting, honestly. That process, yes, those phone calls are not fun to make. You're taking money directly out of somebody's pocket that, I would consider myself a pretty sympathetic person, and so those are difficult. But yeah, it's really exciting to have new faces on the team. Yesterday, I think got 13 leads, and 11 of them were from the same guy, my same marketer that's been killing it. So in terms of getting new faces, it's been a really positive experience for me. And yeah, I think training new people kind of keeps me with my eye on the target. I need to be more on the ball when I'm dealing with people that are less familiar with the job, and so keeps me sharp, I think.
Awesome. And I mean, that's, again, sometimes it is tough, and then you have somebody come in that moves those results, which is good for you. And honestly, if somebody's not the right fit, you're actually doing them usually a service too. They can carry on into something else. Again, a couple follow-up questions, because I'm staying on this because I think it's actually something a lot of people will deal with and will help a lot of people. For you, how did you find your new people, like your new employees? Whether it's you need to replace somebody, but one of the themes that I've seen for the last 8 weeks, almost every town hall, has been people that are making big progress have been around getting more people on their team and then getting them started properly. So for you, in your terms of like finding people in middle of July, what are you doing to be able to find people to add to your team and fill some of those spots, whether they're replacing somebody or you're just adding to the team?
Well, first and foremost, I think that starts a couple weeks ago. So I added Noah to my team. That's my marketer who's been really doing a good job. I found him through some of the Indeed applications. So I guess he just applied a couple weeks ago. I was able to interview with him, and honestly, he didn't get back to me for the first couple days. So I kind of wrote him off, and then he gave me a shout and seemed like a really really good kid. So I was excited to get him on the team. And then I just talked to him because he had been having so much success with marketing. I was really curious to see what if any of his friends needed work. So I was asking him if there was anyone that needed full or part-time work, like bring on as a part-time marketer. So I was kind of using him as an outlet, but at the same time, we had some Indeed ads open for me to get new people on the team. So I ended up hiring one of his friends from high school who's just starting in university. And I also hired somebody from Indeed that applied who's same age as or a year younger than I am. So kind of a couple different venues, but I think Kijiji's also a good resource. I was using that earlier on in the season when I first hired my team, but yeah, so I think a mix of kind of like referrals, but at the same time, job postings. So yeah, kind of a bunch of different lanes.
That's awesome. Like, again, I think you have to have ads up, right, to be able to get new people, and it just shows that there are people at this time of the year that also might be shifting out of another role, right? Like, I think that could be a real thing, is that they grab something in April when there wasn't looking like there's going to be a lot of options in the market. So they grabbed something, they weren't 100% happy with it. They just put themselves in a spot, and now they're looking for other things. So I think having those hierology ads, I don't know if that's what you mean. Is that what you mean when you say Indeed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're sourced through Indeed, but yeah,
Cool.
Hierology was where I got the recruits.
Awesome. So hierology, Kijiji, doesn't hurt or cost you anything to have ads open right now. I think that would be a really, again, a really good thing. So again, thanks, Carter, for sharing. It sounds like, again, people being a little consistent and persistent with it, and not being afraid to cycle people out, if they're needed to do that. And now you've got a great, I'll say a great team, but people that are being productive for you. They can help carry you into the rest of the summer, but also into the fall potentially, if that's what you're planning on doing. Because I know a lot of people are planning on running a pretty big fall business. So awesome. Thanks, Carter. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it. And Daniel, you've got another Rookie of the Week honor under your belt. Another big week for you. Another consistent week on both sides of the business, right? So, and last time you talked a fair bit about people. Not sure if that's still the case for you, but for you, again, last week you went plus four grand on marketing production. Like, it's still a balanced engine that you've got going. And I think one of the things that stood out to me is that you did 24 estimates last week, and that's our basically our streak competition this week metric, right? So when you think about it, whether it's just overall results, number of estimates that you can still do, to me, number of estimates is always one of the lead indicators. Meaning, if the estimate number is high, I know someone's probably going to get some results in that week, but it's going to get results down the road as well. For you, what are you doing to get the estimates that you need, book the work, and balance marketing and production right now in July?
Just having a steady income of leads is always really good. Once you have the lead, people usually get the estimate. And then the biggest thing I learned this year from marketing is that at the beginning, I was trying to sell the estimate, then sell the booking. But then recently I realized it should be the opposite, where asking for an estimate, you can go through the same street 3 times. Someone will say no once, twice, and then maybe the third time they'll say, okay, well, yeah, sure. I can see you've been here a lot. Let me get you go ahead and do the estimate. And so getting really good at selling the actual job was something important I learned 2 or 3 weeks ago. Making sure that when you tell them the price, you also discuss what comes with that service. If they ask about interiors, make sure to still, address concerns of COVID. Be like, yes, our guys wear full PPE, foot covers, everything. Um, Upselling never hurts. So whenever I have my production team going out, I write in their schedule like, okay, this customer wanted exterior windows and interior gutters, but try and upsell them to exterior gutters as well. So that way, even if the job is set right there, it's easier to upsell them once it's already sold. Once they're already there, it's like, hey, it's an extra $100 to do the exterior of your gutters, and so that just helps add to more of the overall production. And then yeah, I'd say the most important thing is just getting really good at booking the jobs. Uh, I went from, I'd say like 20, 30% bookings to someday where I'm going out to do 5 estimates. I'll get like 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. And yes, there are like certain bad days. I had days where I went out and did 6 estimates and only 1 person booked. But it's also understanding that different times of the week, people are more receptive to getting their windows cleaned. So maybe at the end of the week, when people get their paycheck in, they're more often into, using it, buying some window cleaning. And yeah, just understand that there's going to be bad days, but as long as you're going out and you're going door to door, if you can get 50 houses in 2 hours and get 4 or 5 bookings out of that, that's an extremely good job, extremely good day right there. And just making sure to stay on top of my team. I got a bunch of marketers out there that are doing estimates as well. So I'm making sure every day set goals for them, make sure they're, breaking down the price, the service for it, and then as well as referrals and signs. I've noticed that if I leave a sign out on someone's lawn, that could potentially generate 2 leads. So I even told my guys like, hey, tell the customer, we can either we can either give them 10% off on a referral, or if they're booked like 2 weeks in advance, hey, we'll give you a 10% off if you let us stick a lawn sign on your lawn until we come do the job and then we take it off. So just like little things like that help generate more customer potential. And then, like I said, it's all about selling the job, not selling the estimate. So even if I got to go to 50 houses and only get 1 estimate, if I can be, 100%, 1 for 1 on every estimate, that's another job book for my crew.
Awesome. So again, just to validate a couple things that I've heard, I know a lot of times people don't want to leave lawn signs out because you're going to forget where they are, but putting them in someone's lawn and you have to go back and pick them up, putting them when you book somebody and then you'll pick it up when you get back is a pretty great solution to that, right? Like you'll always go back. The other thing that I heard you say that sometimes is that people are nervous to go down the same street again. So if you think about your turf, using your resources, if you think about it, just easy math, it'd be if 50% of people answer the door, 50% of doors open, which would be pretty high, but 50% of people open the door, and there's, let's say, 2 decision makers in every house. Every time you go through, you're going to get roughly 25% of the decision makers that you'll speak to. So if it was a perfect world, if you went through, it would take 4 times to get through that. If the math all worked out, which it doesn't, which means you can go through your area 4, 5, 6, 7 times in an area in a year and get more out of it every single time, especially when they've seen you in there already. I heard you talk about people. I heard you talk about detail in terms of selling the job. And to me, that detail shows somebody's competence, right? So when you're confident and you're detailed, you're going to be competent, which is one of the parts of the trust triangle, right? Character, competence, common sense of purpose, and having somebody like and trust you. So back to TSA almost. Like and trust you is why they'll buy from you. So a lot of those things, like, they're coming together for you right now. And I don't think there's any way around it. You got people and you're putting in time. So, right, you're putting in time, you're getting the estimates, you're doing the work, you're pushing it on that side of things, and you're continuing to get results, as I said. So congrats, Daniel, another awesome week, and great job. Carter, just reading yours. How often would you repeat an area? Once every 2 weeks? I think that's okay, right? Like, especially this time of the year, like you can go back through it. For me, especially, for those that are continuing, when you remember this time of the year next year, hopefully we're cold calling. I believe we'll be cold calling next year in February and March. I can go through February and March. I'd go through again towards the end of April. I'd go through again in May. I'd go through again in June, almost like that once a month. And I wouldn't be afraid to do job site marketing when I'm in that area doing, producing. So again, I think that's exactly it. And Daniel, I can see you validate there. You're planning on doing your tour for another 2 times this year. And you're already saying you've been through them 3 or 4 times. So again, fantastic. Thanks, Daniel, for sharing that. And I think there's some really good tidbits, especially as you get into sludge season. How do you get yourself through sludge season? There's some really good ways to do that. Tony, I'll pass it over to you with thoughts just in general and things.
Yeah, and thanks, Carter and Daniel, for. I'm always writing a bunch of stuff as you guys are talking and being reminded of everything. So a couple things. First is you're going to be getting. I'm not getting out in the field as much as I normally do. So and Aaron and I and the team want to hear from you. We're about to get ready to design for the 3rd period here. And we want your input on that, as well as how are things going, because we're trying to listen. And one of the things that was happening when we started these town halls was we were pivoting in real time. We were making changes in real time. We have all those skills on being able to pivot in real time based on what the marketing conditions are. So you're going to get a survey from us. Please complete it. We're asking that everyone in the whole company completes it. So you may hear follow-ups from me. And the only thing that, and I was talking about it earlier with some of the full-time staff at College Pro is, and trust me, I do not say this, I've never seen any opportunity like this in my career at College Pro, and I don't even want to tell you how long that is. It's a long time. That opportunity to 10X that we talked about, which has a lot to do, there's a lot of scarcity. We have to think about scarcity in the future as much as scarcity today. What we're thinking of for you is how do you get more skills, more money, a little bit more fun between now and the end of this year inside College Pro. And I would just encourage everyone, even if you've taken a little bit of a rest, to think about how you can supercharge the rest of your year, because I don't know if we're going to see an opportunity like this if things go back to the way they were, to have opportunities like we're going to have in the fall, and a lot of people at home and a lot of work that can be done. So we're thinking about that for you, but you should also think about that for yourself. So great week. Thanks again, Daniel and Carter, and I'll hand it over to you, Aaron.
Awesome. And we'll wrap it up real quick. And I think to me, the biggest thing is that for those rookies that are experiencing right now, it's okay, right? When I say that, like, it's the weirdest thing in our business. As your results go up, the market shifts a little bit. Understand that you're still making positive progress to your business. Those seniors that have seen this before, you've seen it before. So you know what it's like to come out on the other end. And the worst thing anyone could do right now is stop putting in consistent energy. It's the one thing that you can control right now more than anything. And there's still a lot of market out there. People are booking $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 a week. Joel booked 10 grand last week. He's moving today, so he couldn't be with us, but he'll be with us next week. So with all that said, have a great week, everybody. Whatever you're trying to do this week, you can absolutely do it. Make sure you're pushing that momentum in the right direction. Talk to everybody next week. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one.
Yes.